So today I am talking about 10 of the hardest things that I personally learned within the first year of business. So if you're interested, stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. Disclaimer, remember that this is my personal experience and it may not apply to everyone. Welcome back. Today is going to be such a fun video because I get to sit here and talk to you. This has a lot of depth to it, but I'm not going to get too deep, at least I hope so, because then this video would be extremely long. But if you guys want an in-depth video about a certain topic or not, just let me know down in the comments. But I'm also burning a new candle. It's one of my tester candles. And I'm so excited for it because it smells so good. I'm not going to add it to my fall line though. I've decided that. I was going to, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do my spring collection with that one, along with a few others. So the vibes are really great in here. Before I start rambling on, because I'm a talker, I don't like to admit it, but I am. Let's get right into the video. These are in no particular order. Number 1, as a small business owner, you have to calculate your net profit and your gross profit. This is not talked about enough in the small business community. Everyone just says times it by 3 or times it by 4. And I did that at the very beginning. And it put me a few $100s in the hole. So calculating my net profit and my gross profit actually opened my eyes a lot more than I thought it was going to. It showed me how much money I had to work with and how much money I had lost previously. This also goes hand in hand with budgeting, which everyone knows about budgeting. You have to budget. You gotta spend within your means and your income. I actually have a book. It's called Starting a Business, like Self-Reliance Starting a Business. And I've been doing that. I'm not all the way through it, but this is actually something I learned from it. It helped me calculate my net profit and my gross profit. It said that with my net profit should be above 10% to be a successful business, as well as your gross profit has to be above 50% to be ideally successful as a business owner. Let me go grab the book, so if you guys want to do it, you can. Give me a second. Okay, so this is the book. It's Starting and Growing My Business for Self-Reliance. It kind of goes through a lot of basic stuff as well as defining your brand and defining your audience. But this is the biggest lesson I have had so far. It tells you first to budget, get your variable costs, your fixed costs, and then your sales revenue. To get your gross profit, you're going to have your sales revenue and then subtract your variable costs from that sales revenue. Whatever is left over, this part, is your gross profit. Now, your net profit is your sales revenue, and then you take your variable costs and then your fixed costs, and whatever is left over is your net profit. It says most successful businesses have gross profit margins that are around 50% or greater and net profit margins that are around 10% or greater. This is when I made a huge shift in my business, is when I did this lesson. And it is so worth it to figure that out and to keep track of it. Number 2 kind of goes hand in hand with the net profit and gross profit. So this one is know the max sale you can do. When you are calculating your net profit and gross profit, automatically see what percentage of a sale you can put each of your products on and still make that 10% net profit. I highly encourage you to do all of this. You will realize how much you are either losing or gaining from putting your products on sale. Now, this is where my story comes in. I took up a vendor booth spot in a retail area. Its name is the Collective Underground. They were really good. They had consistent traffic, and this is honestly no hate to them because This was my own mistake, and I suffered because of it. I booked one bookcase as my booth. I think it was like about $60 a week. I started vending there I'd say like mid-December, and I decided that I was going to put my candles on sale because it was Christmas time, and I was just trying to get rid of my Christmas candles and my fall candles before the season gets over. And I put my sales on a 50% off sale. I know, all the small business owners are just like, 50% off? Oh my God, that's a lot. And it is a lot. But I kind of was desperate to just get rid of my holiday candles. I don't know why I was this desperate to get rid of them. Honestly, I look back at that time and I'm completely clueless why I even did that. In that month alone, I sold like $400 worth of candles. I was really excited at first because I was just like, oh, they're selling. That's so great. And it was fabulous. But I took the sale off, and then like for I think Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, I also did a sale, but I didn't do that much. I think I did like a 15% off sale or something like that. I realized at Easter time that in my budgeting app, things weren't adding up. So I contacted the Collective Underground, and they were really sweet about getting me all the information. They gave me a literal breakdown of every single month of all my sales. They were really cooperative, and I thank them for it. But they gave me all that stuff so I could get my budgeting down and figure out where all this money that I lost came from. And I realized that it had come from that one sale that I did at the very, very beginning. I had put my candles so cheap that I was literally not making back my cost of goods. I was not making back my booth. I was losing hundreds of dollars. I sold $800 worth of candles for $400. If you are a candle maker and you know the expensive candles are not a cheap product to make. There's a reason why candle makers price their candles so high, and then the labor and the testing, and it's just a lot. I did all this calculating, and I realized that I had lost $600 worth of cost of goods, booth fees, all of that. I didn't earn a single cent in profit by putting my sale at 50% off. Now, putting a sale at 50% off was just stupid in the very beginning. But I was still very new at this business thing. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it would encourage people to buy things. I didn't realize I was going to lose so much money. When I realized this, I gave myself a lot of crap for how much of an idiot I was, and why didn't I figure out my profit margins before I even started selling or things like that. But you live and you learn. The only thing you can do is move on. That's my story to back up my first 2 points. Always calculate your net and gross profit, as well as know your max sale rate. That was a really hard lesson I learned. It's a little bit laughable now. I'm still quite upset with myself. I'm choosing to laugh at it and learn that hard lesson so I don't make it again. Third point, be confident in your products and your prices. Now, you hear about this all the time in the small business community. Always stick up for your prices, always stick up for your product, especially if you know that they're a good quality. I did reach a point about halfway through my business year where I felt like my prices were too high, and that's why people weren't buying. But I didn't know what to do, because if I lowered my prices, I would barely make any profit. And I knew this. But I saw so many other candle makers have lower prices than me, and I was just like, okay, well, if they're successful and they're doing it, obviously I can too. And so I lowered my prices, try to compete with those prices. And I realized after a while that I was just digging myself into a hole and I wasn't earning anything. I was struggling and I felt like I just got enough money to buy the next supplies I needed to refill my shelf. Later on, I realized that not only was I comparing myself, which is horrible to do, but my candles were in a ceramic vessel, which is a very premium vessel. I was sourcing all of my stuff from non-toxic places, which means things are more expensive. I also had wood wicks, which are also way more expensive than just cotton wicks or CD, Eco, any of that. I also was printing my own labels and they were in full color, which is a lot of ink, which means I was actually paying more for ink than if I had printed it professionally, which is also another mistake that I have made. This is not a video about my mistakes within the first year of business. Lowering your prices does not mean more sales. It does not mean more income. Again, back to the net profit, gross profit. Make sure your business is set up for success in the budgeting area and do not stray from that. Also, a little side note, I did notice throughout my first year that sales were a lot more attractive to someone than a lower priced candle. Fourth lesson I learned: first impressions matter a lot more than you would think. So whether we like it or not, people look, they judge, they analyze whether it is worth their time or not. Especially at markets, if someone looks at your booth, they analyze the product, they analyze the look, they analyze you and your setup. If any of those things are lower than their expectation to approach you, then you've already lost someone who could have really loved your product. At the very beginning, I literally started with a table that I borrowed from my sister, a tent that I borrowed from my sister, and no type of setup. I literally put my candles on the table. I bought a tablecloth. It was sage green, the one that I have now. That was my first purchase, so I could cover up the tables. Very first market, it was literally the day I launched my business. Now, I have definitely grown from there. I have updated my booth and done things to help it look a whole lot better, a lot cozier, things that fit my brand more. And I do have people walking up to my booth a whole lot more than what they used to. It just goes to show that the look of your booth really does matter. If your booth looks dreary and drag, people aren't going to approach, whether you have a good product or not. Because if people don't approach, they can't even smell or see how good your product is. Also, don't have RBF. I'm still working on that. Okay, fifth thing I've learned: self-care is critical, especially when you have such a busy life. I am a mom. I also run a business. I also have a marriage that I really love and take pride in. But with all of that, that is a lot. It's a lot. And I'm not going to deny that. Sometimes I feel really stressed out and uncomfortable and overwhelmed, but I usually have one day a week where I put myself where I can do like a hobby or self-care so I can like renew and rejuvenate myself. With this note, I actually schedule my week out, and it's the same thing every single day, so I do not have to think about it. Monday is pouring day and filming day. Today, I'm filming. Today is a Monday. Tuesday, I do social media planning for YouTube and Instagram. Wednesday is social media creation or editing. This is where I take my planning for YouTube and Instagram and make them come to life, edit them, and schedule them. Thursday is actually what I said previously. It's my self-care day, my hobby night, where I don't touch the business. I don't do anything business related. I do something that I enjoy, something I love, or even just take the night completely off. If I wanted to, I could sit on the couch and rot, while I eat ice cream and watch a TV show. Fridays are date nights for me and my husband. We plan a date every Friday night. Saturdays is actually editing day. If I haven't rough edited my YouTube channel, I'll do that night, and then I will do all of my details, and I'll also schedule it for Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's when I post, by the way. And then if there is anything else that I need to do, like thumbnails or make sure my YouTube posts are synced with my Instagram, I'll do that as well. And then Sunday is complete rest. I don't touch my business. There has been a few times where I am so close to being done with my YouTube video where I'll go ahead and schedule it and finish it out. I really try not to do that though. Sundays are just a complete rest day. It's family day, and then I usually just cuddle with my husband on the couch while we watch a movie during the night. Ooh, that candle smells so good right now. Number 6, priorities. This kind of goes hand in hand with the self-care. I already told you my schedule for the week. First and foremost, one thing you have to know about me is I am religious. My first priority is God. My second priority is my marriage. My husband is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and there is no way I am letting go of that. Third priority is family. Yes, my children do come after my husband. That does not mean that my children do not matter. I love my children, and I spend all day with them. I don't have another job. My job is being a stay-at-home mom. Fourth priority. This might come to a shocker to you. My home. My home is my fourth priority. My fifth priority now comes the business. When I started my business, I told myself that this was not going to replace any of my priorities. I said this business was just going to stay at nights. The few nights that I had in spare time. It was going to be confined to it, and it will not come outside of it. Now, this does affect my business. My progress is a lot slower compared to other people's. My time that I put into my business is very small. By the time I get to my business at nights, I usually have 2, maybe 3 hours to put into my business before I go to bed. And to be honest, this is not going to change for me. No matter how small my business is, no matter how big my business is, it's not going to get outside of those hours because I know my priorities, and there is no way that I am making my business become something that overtakes my religion, my family, my home, my children. They are my attention, and anything that is left over, the business gets. The 7th thing I've learned, talk to your customers. Now, this one's really hard for me, and I'll explain why. I have learned throughout many markets that I do better when I talk to my customers and I converse with them well. And when I say converse with them well, I mean I carry the conversation well. I am an introvert, so this is very hard for me. By the end of the market day, I'm usually exhausted. Like very exhausted. I also am not very good with words as a person, and I have quite the RBF face, so that does make things harder. I do try to smile a lot and try my best to converse with my guests, but sometimes I do really good, and sometimes I don't. It does show. Sometimes I slip up in my words. So if you ever meet me and I say the wrong thing, or I slip up, or say or like a lot, just know that I am doing my best, and I am improving as the days go on. I'm not perfect. Number 8, defining your brand or having a theme or a vision. This makes it a lot easier to make decisions in the future or moving forward when you know where you are going. Every business has an audience, and you've got to cater to that audience. And when you have defined your brand and have a vision or a theme, then you can cater to your audience better. This also makes your customer experience better in the long run, which is always a high priority. Good customer experiences are when you define your brand, it actually opens up so many doors because it makes things really fun, especially when you can be more creative with the process and your products. Number 9, bring your personality into your business. Bring your personality into your brand. Not to be harsh, well, I'm going to be harsh. Nobody cares about a brand that is just a brand. Nobody cares about a brand that is bland or does not have any substance to it. You have to show your values. You have to show your character, your journey, not just your products. What you stand for, what your vision is, what your process is. It's all in one. Nobody likes watching a 24/7 ad. Love you. Number 9 is actually something I'm still working on. I'm not perfect at it. I still feel like I can be very adsy in my posts, and I'm trying really hard to try to steer away from that, be more inviting and welcoming. That's what my brand really is. My brand is a soft girl, cottage core, homey type of brand. And I really do want to bring that into my posts. I don't have a degree in marketing. I don't have a degree in anything of that sort. And so trying to get my point across is still a little difficult for me. I've gotten a lot better, but I still got a lot to work on. Number 10, stay updated on prices and important info. So always research and look for better alternatives and information. Always stay updated for your cost of goods, your equipment and materials, because the market does change and fluctuate. And when those change and fluctuate, so does the price of your product. But you always want to stay up to date on that stuff so you can still get your ideal profit. Along with this is stay updated on information surrounding your business, your audience, and your product. Not only will being updated with your information help you with your audience and your product, but it will also help you understand and stay more in tune with your business. Businesses that set up and then don't change anything or fluctuate with the coming times usually fail. You've got to be flexible and you got to adjust as time goes on so you are more resilient to the market, to your audience, to the people, and even to the businesses around you. And oh my goodness, that was all 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really hope you guys liked this discussion. Just let me know if you guys want anything more in depth. One thing that I actually have learned about myself with this YouTube channel is that I love to talk. And I didn't realize that until I started filming myself. And I cut out so much within my videos, you don't even know because you don't even see them. But these were the 10 of the hardest lessons I've learned in my first year of business, and I am sure there are a lot more lessons to be learned in my next few years of business. If you are a fellow business owner, comment down below one of the hardest lessons you have learned so far. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!